make sure that's live. This meeting's being live streamed. No shit, Sherlock. Ah, I made it 2 words in.
Actually, was it live? I better go on to the old.
I will find out in a second because it's about to load.
Yeah, yeah. So now I'm home, which is weird, and now I've now got my office in my bedroom now because the bedroom has turned into a playroom. So it's all not the bedroom. The downstairs lounge turned into a playroom, which is all of it. Anyway, I've got walls up in my house as well.
You actually have walls now. Last time I spoke to you, you just
And a
had like
roof.
footings.
And yep, and a
Well,
roof.
well, you've got a roof. You've got more than Shinfield Players Theatre's got.
Oh, if it's not
Thank
one thing, it's
you,
another, isn't it?
Hurricane Eunice.
Am I meant to be recording now? Should I record?
Well, yeah, you can do. It's just for the live stream, isn't it? So,
Yeah, I'm going to record
yeah,
now.
cool. Let's
There
do
you
that at
go.
the same time, shall we?
Well, I've already gone. So tough titties.
Cool. Right, I'll record the Zoom as well, just in case, because you know what I'm like. Right, let's
Yeah.
record this. There we
No
go.
one cares.
So we've got recording on Zoom, we've got recording on Audacity. Can you guess, YouTube, that we haven't done this for a little while and we're a little bit rusty? It's been a month since our last
I
Monkeyseat
can't work out how
podcast.
to get chat. How'd you get chat open?
You press the chat button.
Oh, there it is.
Why do you want
No,
chat open?
if you shrink the window down, chat not for you, for LinkedIn. Not LinkedIn, for YouTube.
Right, yeah.
But if you have it over at half a window, it doesn't appear. How weird.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it does, but it's not there. Oh, it
Yeah.
just has. Oh,
I'm trying to save my bandwidth, so I'm.
yeah.
I use it
How are
by-
you still in the? How are you in like a first world country, and not got decent bandwidth?
I have
And yet
great,
I'm
but
in
I don't
Ireland?
get it. I think it's app issues because when we have bandwidth issues, like I do speed checks and I'm still going at like I can't remember what the rate is now. Let's do a quick speed check now. This is amazing content here. Where's my speed check thing? I'm gonna have to Google it again because I can't remember where it is.
No, you just do speed test on Google,
Yeah.
and it comes up. Should I
Yeah, see now you're
should I
buffering
do
like a
mine?
mother.
Should I see what mine's
Yeah,
doing?
see now you're buffering because go low system resources may affect your audio quality. Yeah, my CPU is at 12.6%.
Right, my speed test. I'm doing internet speed test at the moment. I'm up to 10 megabits a second. Oh, 9. No, back to 9. Download is 9 megs and upload is 7.
Yeah, see I'm at 40 megabytes download and 10 upload. Yeah, you are buffering like a motherfucker at the moment to me.
Yeah,
And
so
it's coming up
you're
low system resources.
so you're fine, and I'm going off. There's a dongle in the corner here because we've got copper line out in Ireland still. We haven't got the fibre over here in this
Right.
road,
Right.
so we haven't got it round to it. We're getting it when we build the house. We're going to get it in, but obviously living in the in-laws, we don't have it at the moment.
Yeah. So I think what's happened with me is basically I'm fine if I don't press anything. As soon as I start, it's like don't touch a thing. As soon as I start moving through windows, because I mean I've got 3 screens going. I've got OBS open, I've got Zoom open, I've got Audacity open, I've got Jingle Palette open, I've got Internet
Jingle
Windows
palette.
open.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Jingle palette.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Seems pretty good. It's so far. We'll find out in a minute if it completely screws my.
Yeah.
But again, like my CPU usage is coming up at 11% at the moment, so I can't see how I've got low system resources.
I don't know. I don't even know how I'd even.
Well, actually,
You
saying that-
processor info. That'd
Yeah.
be it, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Let's see
it
what my
is.
CPU
We are
is.
we are running at 91 degrees Celsius as well, so that's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Cool.
don't quite know how to even find CPU usage. There we go.
It's running on. It displays it on one of the apps I'm using. It does keep coming up low system resources. I reckon it's because of Audacity. I reckon that's the main reason.
Yeah. Oh, the old
Oh, well.
task manager, that'll help, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm running at 100%.
And yet you're like a perfect stream to me at the moment.
Yeah, my CPU is 100%. Oh, it's dropping back down. But yeah, 67%. But back up. Yeah, It's running about
well.
100%. Yeah, my CPU cannot cope.
Well,
Like,
I'm just gonna
on
run
the
it.
edge. I'm on the edge.
I'm just gonna run it, and then yeah, I'm just gonna see what happens, and then
one of us will fall out.
If it crashes, I'll just go to the Zoom recording. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to be too ambitious again. I should learn from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit as to
Yeah.
your
the antics of the last few weeks. Yeah. Should we start
Yes.
the podcast? Oh, hello,
Yes.
hello, Justin in the chat. Good to have you both back. Good to have you back too, Justin. Right. Let's go into this. We've had virtually no prep whatsoever for this. We're just going to completely busk it, which is basically what we normally do anyway. So, right.
Yeah.
I haven't updated it yet.
One job, Tom. You've had how long off?
I have a good reason for it, and I will tell you why in a minute.
There's no good reason, Tom.
There is. There's reasons, whether they're good or not.
What, you're debating whether you're going to put Haas in it or not?
Is that clock going slowly? It is. That's gone.
Not too soon yet?
No, never too soon.
Schumacher hits David Coulthard and is out.
I just hope my daughter doesn't wake up. That's the challenge. Will I get through this podcast without my daughter?
Probably not.
I'll run away and be like, ah!
We're not going to do it. We're not going to do our scripted opening. We decided to
Hello
drop
and
it.
welcome to the Monkeyseat podcast. we
We're
say
not
we're
doing
going to
it.
empty it. Yeah, we're going in. We're going in mad. Like we're going a bit off piece, but I think that's what people like more than the formulative. If you want the formulative things, there's other shows. This is definitely not that.
Monkeyseat is now going like full balls deep, just making it up as we go along. So, yep, no more
What could possibly go wrong?
no more scripted bollocks at the start.
I like to clarify though. The only scripted bit was the beginning. That was the only thing.
Yeah, to be fair, and then just little bits here and there. But yeah, we will do our usual like come and follow us on socials stuff at the end, and
just in case you
all that kind of
really
stuff. Just in case you want
to.
to, and just in case if you're not on YouTube, or if you are on YouTube and you're blind and you can't see the socials and the website above my head, then that's
just
fine.
you, Justin.
Yeah.
That.
Cool. So you were just criticising me for not updating the title sequence during which the only the YouTube listeners would have heard. Now I have to say the reason I've not updated it yet is because I went to do it. I started doing it. But as we're now kind of focusing more on Formula One and just kind of touching on the other series, I was going to put a bit more of the Formula One stuff in there. So I was going to lose the Indycar drone off the start and change it to a V6 hybrid, and I couldn't find a V6 hybrid that sounded good enough to start the podcast.
Oh come on, someone of the geeks.
I was doing it for like 4 hours. I was trying to find a decent.
One of the geeks, one of the techie people must have one.
Yeah, but
Tom,
it's just
Tom will have one.
The problem is, Carl.
Tom will have one.
The V6 turbo hybrids just don't sound very good, and I just didn't want to start the podcast with a shit sounding engine. So
we'll just put the old V8s or the V10s on.
Yeah, I might try and put a V8 on there and finish, because we finished with a V10 now anyway, so I might try and put the V8 on there. So, yeah, so I will update it at some point. I just haven't got round to it. I've been doing lots of other stuff.
I did hear, which one was it? McLaren's, and it sounded quite good.
Yeah, but the trouble is you can't get it for you need to have a bit of 5 or 6 seconds of sustained noise uninterrupted by Ted Kravitz or saying some bollocks about something. So, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We will sort it at some point. But so yeah, we are back. This is literally the first time we've actually been on a call with each other since a month ago when we did our wrap-up show.
Yeah. And then, we had been on a call together, but we didn't speak to each other.
Oh yes, that was for the Statman quiz, which we did with. So just to put some meat on those bones, I've started a second podcast with Grid Talk, which is basically it's not always just going to be me doing it, but I'm starting it off. It's Fireside.
George Howson's been on it as well.
Yep, that's just gone up today, I think.
Today? Yeah, so that went up today.
Yep. So it's basically fireside chats with people involved in Formula One, and we decided to kick it off by getting Sean back on, and we did the Statman quiz. And a good friend of mine, Chris, who set up all the technical stuff, he wowed me with all the bells and whistles and promises of all these glorious effects. And unfortunately, we just ran out of bandwidth. And
Sorry, you ran out of bandwidth.
No, it wasn't me. It was Chris's end that was the problem.
Well, I couldn't even. Nothing was loading up for me. You couldn't see anything. I was just like
the apps.
Hey, we're crashing into each other. We're doing well.
But yeah, sorry. No, I was just reading a comment. I've just realised that Justin is actually Darren. Of course it is.
No shit, Sherlock.
Of course it is. I completely forgot about that.
What was he the other day? He was another name that we were like,
yeah.
No, it
yes.
You thought someone was called Just in Time.
Yeah, I knew it as a pseudonym, but I couldn't remember who it was off the top of my head. But now I know it's Darren. That's fine.
Talking about socials, did you put this out that we're live on socials, such as Twitter? Because I haven't been on my account.
I put on Twitter that we were going to be going live around 8 o'clock. So, yes.
There we go.
So we'll just cover that now. So Carl has taken over the Monkeyseat Pod Twitter. So if you want to get in touch with Carl...
Good luck.
He is at Monkeyseat Pod.
No, I'm going to try. Now. I'm going to actually download the app. While I'm sat here, I'm going to download the app.
Live twittering.
Twittering.
Yep,
Tweeting.
and I am doing a lot more on my personal Twitter now, and that is rehandled at Tom Horrocks F1. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can get me at Tom Horrocks F1, and the website, as usual, is monkeyseat.com.
Should I rename the Monkeyseat one as Carl King F1?
Well, it was. I mean, I think you should make your own Twitter.
We haven't actually. I
think you should make your own Twitter and call it Carl King F1.
No, but like it's got people on it. Okay, fine. I don't know whether I want to put it as Carl King F1. I don't know.
Well, it was more for the podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, but, maybe I should put it on. Maybe I should. I need to find the app on this phone.
Yeah.
I've updated my phone. I don't know where anything is. I got a new phone, and I have literally no idea where anything is. Weirdly, I just typed in Pat by accident instead of Play for Google Play, and it came up.
Okay.
How weird.
But anyway, apart from not being on Twitter, what have you been up to in the last month?
What have I been up to? Building a house.
You have walls now?
I have walls. I have flat roofs. And we're getting there. And then the other roofs are going in a couple of weeks' time. So that's all happening. I've found out I was going to become a published author and had to write a short story. So I'm writing a short story. For all those romantic people out there, I'm writing a Christmas rom-com type thing, part of an anthology called The Christmas Collective. Last year's book was called More Than Mistletoe, which I wasn't in. But this year, we haven't released the name of the book yet, so I can't even tell you. But I'm doing it, and it's part of The Christmas Collective. It's a Christmas rom-com thing because I haven't got enough stuff to be doing with myself at the moment. Also,
3 kids isn't enough.
Oh yeah, still having the 3 kids, and obviously trying to do the podcast, which I don't even think I put it on I put a thing on Facebook as to all the stuff I'm doing, and it didn't even come. I didn't even write the podcast. So yeah, and I'm just started a new job, new production, filming in a horror. So I'm doing a horror film as location manager. So that is all kicked off this week, and we start filming in 4 weeks' time. So God knows where I'll be for when we're recording, but we'll soon find out. Probably in hotels. Yeah. Luckily, normal days, so I shouldn't have anything issues with trying to get onto the evening pods.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, don't. Yeah. So right. So should we talk about the elephant in the room, or the Putin in the room?
Oh, are we going to start with that? Are we? Okay.
Well, do you want to talk about that, or should we?
Yeah, we can.
I
mean, without going into too much, I don't want to.
We don't do politics, but
when it dramatically affects,
it's dramatically, changing everything. It's changed the Winter Olympics, which starts tomorrow.
Oh well, no one cares about the Winter Olympics. It's fine.
It's the Winter Paralympics tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we care about that because we have to.
Yeah,
we have to care about. Genuinely, I care more about.
But no. But
the
talking about the Winter Paralympics, do you know who one of the presenters is?
No.
Billy Monger.
Hey, well done. Billy gets everywhere.
I'd love to get Billy Monger on this show. That would be like
It'd be good fun,
the one person I would love to get on this. Weirdly, I work with his mum on.
Yeah, you said you got to get in there. You got to get plant.
But I don't know her. Like I work with her. She's makeup on locations. We don't talk unless there's a problem with the heating, or there's a problem with the makeup mirror.
So I don't know how we're going to segue this conversation back to Vladimir Putin, but.
Anyway, the Russians have been kicked out of the Olympics, and now we're not quite sure whether it's whether the old Mazepin will be kicked out, and what's going on. I mean, they're banned from advertising from any company with advertising. That was what the FIA rules were. So what are the current rules at the moment, how it stands? At the moment, Mazepin can, as of 8:30 on the 3rd of the 3rd, Mazepin can officially still race under neutral flag.
But not in the UK.
But not in the UK. And we're not going to Russia.
No. Ever again, seemingly. Or certainly not in the short term. Because they've cancelled the contract for the Russian Grand Prix completely.
Why were they moving it to St. Petersburg anyway?
It was a purpose-built facility they were building.
I didn't know that until I heard it on the news today. I was like, we were going to St. Petersburg?
I'm sure we have covered it on this podcast.
Probably, but you know me, things going one ear and out the other.
Yeah. No, so it was a purpose-built facility, which I'm assuming is now kind of shelved. And Russian Grand Prix this year is currently unable to happen in the current climate, but the contract's been completely cancelled, so it's not happening. And there's a war on.
There is a war.
There's a war. So I kind of.
Do you know the only good thing about this war is that COVID's over. We don't have to talk about COVID every 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is true. It
was not that. Sorry, I'm making light of that. That's not what I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I get it. Don't worry.
I'm just making sure everyone else does.
Yeah.
Before my new Twitter gets attacked.
Yeah. Every cloud and all that. Yeah. So, if you want to attack Carl personally,
I'm creating one now. I'm actually doing it now.
At Monkeyseat Pod on.
No.
Are you going to make your own one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. This is.
I don't think
so. The aim is how many followers can Carl have by the end of this podcast?
0.
Not many, because not many people watch the live stream. So come and watch us on our live stream. Search for Monkeyseat Pod on YouTube, and you'll find our live stream. Oh, Aussie Man's just released a new video. I'll have to watch that later.
Who's Aussie Man?
Aussie Man. Do you ever watch the Aussie Man reviews?
No.
Go on Facebook, search for Aussie Man reviews. Hilarious. Absolutely brilliant. It's this Aussie guy just like commentating on things that are happening.
All right.
And it's normally like animals fighting with other animals and stuff. And it's really funny, honestly. You won't regret it. He releases a new video pretty much every day. So
describe yourself in 160 characters. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Yeah, later on. Do it later.
Yeah. No, I'm doing it now. But anyway, carry on talking about Mazepin.
So, I mean, thing is, they're saying that. I mean, I think that a lot of other countries are going to follow suit, and they're going to ban Russian athletes. And I feel, on a human level, I feel sorry for racers, like Danny Kvyat, Robert Schwartzman, and Arina Sidorkova in W Series, who are basically having their motorsport careers just completely dropped. Through no fault of their own.
And this is the same. They were talking about this in the Paralympics and things. Is that their whole careers have gone. Their whole job, their whole career. Now, what my interest is going to be is, will they all default to a different nation?
Yeah, this is my thought. Can they just renounce their citizenship and become a citizen of another country? See,
a citizen of the world.
Yeah, well, this is another thing, because the racers in motorsport, their nationality is defined by the country in which their license is held. So, for example, Robert Dornbos was Dutch, but he was racing under a different license. I can't remember what it was. And Eddie Irvine, even though he was from Ireland, was racing under a British license at one point, but then was racing under an Irish license at another point. Rosberg has changed nationality more times than Russia's changed name. He's raced under the Finnish flag, the German flag, and a Monegasque flag.
But is it where your home is? But I suppose it's
No,
like
it's where your racing license is issued.
Yeah, but
So,
like
in
that's the same
theory-
with football and things. People have moved things,
Yeah.
and there's
So in theory, Mazepin could. Well, no, with football, it's slightly different because you have to have been a resident of that country for 5 years before you can get a super license,
right.
or before you get a player's license.
But then
international license.
in theory, if that's such a rule in motorsport,
I think there should be.
Mazepin could get away with it because he
But there is-
he came to school over here. I know that much.
yeah, there is a caveat to there is a caveat to that terrible joke.
Yeah.
And that is that the reason that Nikita Mazepin is in that Haas team is because of his backing. It's not because of his skill. If he was a hired driver, then I would feel really sorry for him. But the fact is, he's there because of his father's money and Euro Carly's money, which is obviously owned by his father. So, if they deem that yes, you can
Is
just
he
get
on
another
the
nationality,
sanctions list? Is his father on the sanctions list?
I'm not entirely certain, but the money will all be frozen, won't be able to be put back into the Haas team, and as a result of that, he can't put the money into the Haas team, and plus Haas probably want to cancel that contract with immediate effect anyway. So to do that means that the money isn't there, which means they would only put Mazepin in that car if he was an unbelievable talent. And let's be honest, he's not an unbelievable talent. So they're well within their rights to seek other sponsorship opportunities elsewhere, which looks like it's likely to be Pietro Fittipaldi, brings some backing from Brazil. He is their reserve driver. He has, in the interim, it will be Fittipaldi in Bahrain
Is
next week.
Fittipaldi's sister Thingy Bob's wife, girlfriend, Verstappen's girlfriend?
No, that's Kelly Piquet.
Oh, PK. I knew it was. I knew it was. I mean, it was. I knew it was a dynasty family. You know.
Oh yeah. It's all just it's just nepotism central, all the way through. But he is Emerson's grandson.
All right. Yeah.
Emerson Fittipaldi, Formula One world champion. Just in case you didn't know, Carl. But yes. So I think it's going to be Pietro, not Pietro. God, yeah, the other one.
The other one.
The other Fittipaldi is going to be in that car. And I think, the other options are, the one that everyone would want would be Oscar Piastri, given that he should be in F1. And the other option looks like it could be Antonio Giovinazzi, because his Ferrari backing...
Yeah, that makes some sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's not had the greatest of starts with Dragon Penske, but in a bit of an exclusive, because this I'm sure Grid Talk won't mind me saying this, but I've just finished an interview this afternoon with Jake Boxall-Legge from Autosport for a technical analysis special for the next Fireside F1 episode next Wednesday. So it's not going to air till next Wednesday, but he said on that interview that because he's the on the ground reporter for Formula E now, that Giovinazzi will be in a very strong contract with Dragon Penske, and it'd be unlikely he'll be able to get out of it unless it's written into his contract that if an F1 team comes knocking, then he can go. So it's not likely to be Giovinazzi based on that, but it could still be, because Ferrari have a lot of power, and if Ferrari want him in there, they'll make it happen.
Cool.
But so I don't know who's going to be in that car, which is kind of making my early season predictions a bit of a faff, because I said that I thought Mazepin was going to score, was going to comprehensively, was going to score.
You've lost that
points. One. Yeah, whether he was going to score more points than Schumacher, I don't know, but he was going to be a regular to semi-regular point scorer. He was going to be like, 5, 6, 7, 8 points over the season, that kind of thing. And I genuinely think that if that Haas car can get to the end of a race, it could actually be a decent car, because they've had, they completely sacked off last year, and they weren't that far off a couple of years back, and they've put so much effort. Cat's back. They put so much effort into this formula that surely that much effort must result in some kind of better engine, better car. So not engine, obviously, better car. And plus, obviously, the Ferrari power unit is now a lot stronger as well. So that's bound to help. So I think Haas are going to be in the mix. Whether they're going to be regular point scorers, I'm not certain. But I do think they will be. At the moment, my money is on Alpha to be the bottom team, based on their pre-season.
You reckon?
Well, their pre-season's been absolutely terrible, hasn't it?
Do you reckon?
Yeah, they've only had a handful of laps. Bottas has hardly had any laps at all. Guan Yu Zhou got a decent run in it on day 2, but on day 3, Bottas hardly got any laps at all.
I do. To be honest, I haven't seen any of Police pre-season.
Great.
So
Right.
you're going to have to tell me what happened.
Oh, yeah, let's do a podcast, Tom. I haven't watched anything, though.
Do you know what? I just miss doing them. I really miss doing them, but I just haven't had time to even think.
You could have given me some notice, told me you hadn't watched anything. Oh, my God.
I haven't watched anything.
Yeah, so Alfa Romeo had a really torrid time so far. They ran a camo livery.
I screwed you over here, haven't I?
They ran a camo.
Oh yeah,
livery.
I saw that. Like, what the fuck was that about?
It's like, who the hell is going to copy you?
You can't see. You can't take the pictures. I mean, I like, yeah, right, whatever.
Oh,
Like, what were you
God.
thinking? What special thing have they got that no one else has?
Maybe they forgot to put an engine in. That's where
It
they've
didn't really
made
run
some
that
weight
much, did
saving.
It didn't really run that much, did it?
Oh,
So-
God. I just realised I've just removed part of my wedding ring there, live on YouTube. Shouldn't have done that. You didn't see that?
How can
God,
you
so-
remove part of your wedding?
As in, like, I took it up my finger and didn't take it off.
Oh yeah, but I always take my wedding ring off.
Don't do that!
Why? I
Sacred
fiddle
vow!
with it. Do you know what I do? I fiddle with it and I spin it. I sit there spinning it. I always take my wedding ring off. Like, to be honest, like I don't know if they're here yet, but like Laura doesn't ever wear her engagement rings because of work and stuff. So
Yeah,
and she's not even allowed to wear her wedding ring because it's got diamonds in.
that's
So
true.
she has to take it off. So
Well, I mean, you were there at my wedding.
Yeah.
When my fingers were particularly swelled up because it was quite warm and it was a bit of a squeeze to get the ring on, eventually got past my knuckle and I just said, "Oh, well, that ain't never coming off." And then the magistrate was like, "Well, that is the idea." So
Really?
Yeah, did you not hear that?
No.
You were there. You were standing next to me.
Yeah. I was down at the bottom of the queue.
Yeah. So it's just like, that's never coming off. Well, that is the idea. And so every time I kind of do that with it now, I'm just like, oh, the magistrates, they're like, don't take your ring off.
Jesus.
Oh. Anyway, back to F1. So we've kind of covered the elephant in the room and what we think of Haas.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't agree with what's happening in the
No, Ukraine. You know, I support Ukraine. I'm definitely with that. I listened to his snobship talking about. I can look up Love Island UK. That's good. I'm still trying to do my Twitter account, and it says I have to choose things that I like, and it says Love Island UK.
Just select motorsport ones. Otherwise you'll clog up your feed.
Yeah, but I want to with Love Island. And then, anyway, yeah, he was just saying the most random stuff, and you're like, oh, do you actually believe your own bullshit? Like, anyway, he's just a knob, and he can just fuck off. And our thoughts are with everyone in Ukraine. Let's just be there. Let's see how it all develops, but I think this isn't the end. And if you're a geek like me, go onto Plane Finder and go and look at all the planes circling around Ukraine at the moment.
Oh, I did see the. I saw there was a live stream of Kiev up when I was just getting the live stream video up for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you go and have a look at the Plane Finder, which is live radar of where every plane is in the world.
Oh, God. I'm not sure I want to.
And there's just look at there's planes just circling around Ukraine. Like there's nothing above Ukraine. Normally there's planes everywhere, just dotted, but Ukraine is completely empty. And then you go and click on the planes around it. I found a Netherlands Air Force plane. I've seen a couple of NATO planes that are doing weird circuits, and you can watch where their circuits are. I'm such a geek. But yeah.
Did you by any chance watch Big Jet TV when Storm Eunice hit the UK?
No.
It was hilarious. It was just this guy.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, and it was all the
watching
planes
coming in.
Yeah,
it's like Jesus, that's a big mother.
Do you know what I watched on YouTube? Sorry, I'm going off really on time to say. What I watched on YouTube yesterday, I watched for 10 minutes someone with a magnet throwing them into the river and seeing what they could pull out. And he got so excited when he found a hubcap a hub, even wheel hub,
Mm.
and then got really excited when he found the second one. His mind got blown. It was the most random fucking thing. Anyway, sorry. This is what happens when there's no F1 on. And nothing
Well,
to really
we've
talk
literally had cars on track, but you didn't watch it.
I didn't realise you could. Genuinely, I didn't realise you could.
You couldn't watch it, but they were doing like wrap-up shows and stuff, and you can go on the social channels and you can go on the F1 website and catch up on the stuff of that. But it's fine, don't worry.
Yeah, well, I mustn't have the F1 app, one app up at the moment.
So if I were to say to you, what is porpoising?
Not a fucking class.
Have you heard anything about that?
Porpoising? No.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually.
It's not
someone
some
put
crazy.
it up on a chat and I was like, I've no idea what that was about.
Yeah.
I've obviously missed something. There.
It's not a kinky sex game.
Yeah.
It probably is actually, to be fair. But, so basically,
I don't really want to Google it.
No, well you can, but basically, it's like when you have your first driving lesson and you let the clutch up too quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that basically. The F1 cars are doing that.
Why is that called a porpoising?
Because you're going woo like
and a porpoise does that.
Yeah, when they're swimming, they do that, don't they? Yeah, this is great audio content.
Sorry. Go onto YouTube, guys, because what the hell? Just in time. What's the classic? What's the classic car? Actually, probably everything.
That went up a while back. That was when you hadn't listened to anything. I hadn't watched anything.
Right.
So
I genuinely didn't realise.
Yeah. So basically, what it is the ground effect aerodynamics go underneath the car with the where they suck it to the ground. Where it gets too close to the ground, it touches the ground and then lifts up slightly, and then it reconnects down the back end, and then it disconnects and reconnects, and basically it starts bouncing up and down. So it's an aerodynamic effect that was around in the 80s when we last had ground effect cars, but for some reason and completely by accident, James Key, who's the technical director of McLaren, said that they have no idea why, but their car just doesn't do it, and they wish it was. They wish they knew why, but it just doesn't do it, and they don't know why. So that's both brilliant and concerning.
Something on their car. Yeah, so now everyone's now going to look at the McLaren going, what have you got?
I mean, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, now the challenge is who's going to figure it out first. The person, the other team.
I mean, there's an easy solution. You just raise your rise height, and then that stops it. Yeah. But then you lose performance. So they're constantly chasing performance, and the teams are coming out saying.
Does that mean McLaren's higher then?
Well, no, because their car actually seems to be running lower than a lot of the other cars because they're running them higher.
Maybe that's it.
No, it's because of the porpoising. They're running them higher to stop the porpoising. So, but their car does seem to be running lower, and I think it's just something to do with the way the tunnels run underneath and the way the suction works. That they've lucked in their area philosophy has lucked into it not happening, which could mean that it could end up happening later in the season because every track's different. I mean, Barcelona's a bumpy track. On the billiard table tracks, it's not going to be a problem, but on some tracks that are quite bumpy, I think it will come back because they're going to be running it as close as they can. They're going to find the absolute minimum tolerance, add an eighth of a millimeter to it, and then that'll be their baseline.
Yeah.
So they're not going to want to go beyond that because they're giving away performance every time they do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your porpoising in a nutshell. The push rod pull rod system thing, that's just suspension geometry. I'm not going to get into that because it's more for aero effect. It doesn't actually make a lot of difference to performance. But and I say that like I know that, but fortunately I just had a conversation with somebody very knowledgeable about push and pull rods. So I
you got your geek on.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, the thing is, compared to
is it worrying? The first team that I'm going to follow on Twitter is Haas.
Is a little bit. So is it up and running now?
I'm getting there.
Is your Twitter up and running?
Getting there.
What handle have you got?
Wright and Pod.
Who?
Wright and Pod.
Wright and Pod.
As in Wright, WRITE, and Pod.
All right.
I think. How do you check? Yeah, Wright and Pod at WRITE and AND Pod POD.
Oh, okay.
As in writing and podcasting.
Wright and Pod. At Wright and Pod. No response or no results.
Yeah, WRITE.
Yeah.
AND POD.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
Can you see this? Hang on.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
There you go. I'm following 3 people, and I've got no
No.
followers.
Okay, it's obviously not come up yet for some reason. So I'll check later.
Can I find? Let me find you, Tom. What are you, Tom?
At Tom Horrocks F1. Do you know how to spell Horrocks?
Oh, look at your mug.
This is.
Look at your mug.
Yeah.
I'm following you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means, but I'm following you.
Right. So if anyone wants to send
I've got
Carl,
a Twitter.
If anyone wants to send Carl an idiot's guide to Twitter,
I do watch Ted's notebooks normally, but I haven't seen any of the new ones. Obviously, he's done a load of notebooks. Has he done a load of notebooks that I missed?
Just for the audio listeners, again, Darren in the chat has put different aerodynamics. You need to watch Ted's notebook, just to let everyone know who's not watching the comments flying up.
Sorry. I don't know who Ted is. Why did I just say that? Has Ted done a new one then?
He does them after every session.
Yeah.
After every session.
But has he done them after the practice? The testing. Yes. I didn't realise that.
In fairness, I haven't actually watched those. I haven't watched it.
I always love Ted notebooks.
Oh yeah.
I sit I'm like everyone else goes off, and I'm like, no, I'm leaving this on. Only because it's quite funny watching the winner's pictures and him trying to chase it on him. Wow, I've got 2 followers. I'm winning.
Yay. Well done. I'm not following.
Oh, you're not following me. I've got 1 follower then. Darren Apps is following me. Well done.
Yeah, it's not come up that you've actually started following me yet. Twitter obviously doesn't want me and you to be friends.
See, yeah. Well, he's found me, and I'm following you, so it must have come up.
It's not come up to say you're following me yet. Oh wait, it has. It's just popped up now. There you go. I'm following you. There you go. So follow Carl King at Brighton Pod.
Yeah.
And you can also use Monkeyseat if you want to, and I will as well.
Yes. All right. Anyway, yeah. So what else happened apart from Alfa Romeo and bouncy cars and McLaren doing well? Who seems to be the fastest? Where are we at with?
So basically, Red Bull stuck a middle finger up at every Formula One fan on the planet.
Right.
They said, "Oh, we're going to launch the RB18 today," and then they launched the RB18, and they launched basically a render of the show car with Red Bull colours on it, and was like, "Yeah, that's our car, honest." And then 2 weeks later, released a car that was completely different. It's like, don't say that's your. Say it's a livery reveal. Say it's that you're unveiling a big sponsor, because that's what they were. They're revealing that they've got Oracle as a sponsor, $500 million over 4 years or something.
Well, that's just paid for Verstappen's 6-year contract.
Well, yeah, I think it's even. Yeah, it has just about because it's $50 million a year he's signed for, isn't it?
Is it a year? I thought it might have been
$50 million a year. I think is the reported numbers. Yeah. Well, Ricardo was on £20 million pounds a year at Renault 2 years ago.
A year.
Yeah, that's the same.
They get a free car.
Yeah, and that's what Hamilton's on allegedly as well.
Although to be fair on Verstappen, he has to drive a Honda.
Well, yeah.
Does he still have to drive a Honda?
Well, it's still technically a Honda. It
always made me laugh when it was like, oh yeah, we're like the fast team. Let me just get in my Clio.
Yeah. Well, they get the Alpines.
Let me get my Megane.
They get the
Alpines. Yeah, let me get in this ugly piece of shit.
See, this is why you have to drive for McLaren, because those McLarens are stunning.
Yeah, you either McLaren or Aston.
Mm.
No, I would have an Aston over McLaren.
I wouldn't. I mean, Astons are great, but
I'd have an Aston over McLaren.
For me, there's not enough choice with the Astons. I mean, saying that, you do get to drive a DB5. Saying that,
yeah, like I'd have this.
Actually.
Who else? Haas don't have a Ferraris. They have to drive the Ferraris. They're quite nice as well.
Yeah,
I'm not into my supercars. So
Alfa Romeo,
Williams, Alfa Romeo. They have 4 cars in their range. Is
something
it?
like that,
including
Stelvio and Quadrifinio or whatever it is.
Yeah, Quadrifinio. Yeah, what is it?
When I race, they take my time. When I race, they take my time. When I drive, I take my time. What? What's that even mean? That's what he said. When I race, they take my time. When I drive, I take my time. It's like, what? Okay.
That was Raikkonen, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Giovinazzi never got never got any input into that.
No.
But it always just made me laugh that it's never Stroll that does the Aston ads. It's always Vettel.
Well, Vettel's only there for that reason, and then to sabotage his career to make Daddy Stroll's golden boy look better.
Yeah. Although he's there for, he does seem to be there to be a political speaking point at the moment. Like Laura turned around to me, Laura, my wife, if you've never heard of her, turned around to me and went, "Oh yeah, I wish I was a Vettel fan." It's like he just comes out with the most sensible things. It does the most sensible things. Well, and it's just like, I wish I sort of was a Vettel fan.
I remember back in the day when we had not your Laura, we had Laura from Trapped in Gravel on the show, and she said a really good point that it said about we don't like the way Dan Tickton behaves sometimes and things like that. And then downright she said, well, at the end of the day, he's like a 22-year-old kid. They're dicks. They're going to behave like dicks. Hamilton was a dick when he came into F1. Vettel was a dick when he came into F1. They got to grow up. Verstappen was a dick and still is in some cases. But he has matured as well. And I look at myself when I was 22. I was an absolute arsehole at 22. I still am now. But back then I was even more of an arsehole.
Yeah.
And you get that life experience. Once you get to 28, 29, you start to kind of really learn who you are, and then that's when you've got people like Vettel and Hamilton taking on all these causes, and apart from Raikkonen, that just doesn't care. But
I think he probably does. I think that Raikkonen's one of these people to shout about it. I genuinely think he probably does.
I'm not convinced. Well,
we heard Elvis, and the way the personas were seemed very different.
Yeah, but it's very much more that he was just a more open, friendly person.
Mm.
He still was never doing anything on the whole gestures of, we racers one gestures and everything. He was never doing anything on them. He was just standing there like, can we race now, please?
Yeah.
But, hey ho.
Sorry. Anyway, back to where we were.
Yeah.
So Red Bull are rubbish.
No, they're not rubbish.
Turned up with a fake car.
Yeah, they debuted a fake car, and now they've got a much different car, and apparently they've got more upgrades coming for the next test as well. They're looking, I'm unsure about Red Bull. They're looking pretty good. I still think that Mercedes are going to be bringing a lot more. Ferrari are following along with what we said last year. Their trajectory is looking good. They're looking really strong. It's hands down for me the best looking car on the grid. It's beautiful.
It does look good.
Beautiful.
Good. I hate the Alpine. Just want to put that out there.
Yep.
Hate the Alpine.
Yep. I think it's.
I thought you liked it.
The Alpine last year I thought was potentially the best looking car on the grid.
Yeah,
this year,
I agree.
For me, hands down, it's the worst.
I thought you liked it. I had this thing that you liked it.
The Alpine. I cannot stand the Alpine. And then, do you know what makes it worse?
Why? The pink. The pink.
The colours. They just
pink.
don't go. I don't mind pink. I don't mind blue. I don't mind blue and pink in the right scenario. But the way they put that car together,
look like. Have you ever seen those? Have you ever my wife's watched loads of these. You know the videos where they have to choose which sex they have to hit, like a balloon or a car, and you have to. Sorry, I'm sort of giving it away now. You know when you have to hit like a balloon or a pinata, and it's got pink and blue on it, and then you won't crack it open, and like a blue balloon flows up and you're having a boy. It looks like one of those. So I'm waiting for it to crash and work out which baby I'm going to have next. Is it going to be pink or is it going to be blue?
Yeah. But what makes it worse as well is Alex Rossi in Indycar. One of my more favoured drivers. He's sponsored by Napa. AutoNation, Napa and AutoNation, and Napa have a blue and yellow car, and AutoNation have a pink car. So depending on which race he's racing for them, he'll have a blue car or he'll have a pink car.
Yeah.
And now Andretti have gone with the same thing as Alpine. They've merged the two liveries, and it looks just like the Alpine. It's blue and pink, and it looks horrible. And it's the same with this. I hate it. I cannot stand it. It's just offensive to my eyes. It makes me.
But why is a branding company able to dictate what colour the car is? Like, I don't think anyone else does it?
Deals,
I suppose
it depends.
Ian Hasted, I'm guessing, because I'm guessing that's part of the deal as to why Yuri Kali or whatever it's called.
Marlboro always did it. Yeah, they always did with McLaren, and then when they went to Ferrari, they did it as well. Benson and Hedges with Jordan. It's littered all
they
through
had the
history.
yellow one.
Orange when they were with arrows.
Oh yeah.
They do when they're a title sponsor. They want it to look like that car. You know that they want their colours on that car. That's the whole purpose of doing it, to make its brand association. Brum brum fast car. Oh look, something that's really exciting. I'm gonna have that loafer now because it's on a McLaren. You know, but
or weirdly, I'm going to. Have you ever gone through some of the random companies that people are sponsored by? Husky Chocolate make me laugh every time. What? You're a vending machine company. You can't even buy your hot chocolate out of a normal packet. What are you on about? Where have you got all this money that you can sponsor McLaren? What?
Yeah, but they actually sponsor Marcus Ericsson in Indycar. They sponsor the entire car. It's the entire car is red and white.
So Husky Chocolate, okay. And then they decide to bring out a clothing brand, Husky Clothing. What? How have you gone from chocolate to clothing? Like that's a bit like AlphaTauri that's gone from drinks to.
There was the best one for me was when Toro Rosso was sponsored by Moose Cider. Okay,
Cider.
They were sponsored by Moose Cider, and it was all across the rear wing saying Moose. And
I remember.
And then when they went into some countries, I can't remember which countries it was, but the countries where you're not allowed to advertise alcohol, all of a sudden Moose Cider released another product that wasn't alcohol related, so they could keep the brand name on the car. Moose hot dogs. And it's the same thing with Kingfisher when they sponsored Force India.
Yeah.
When they weren't allowed to advertise. When they weren't allowed to advertise in certain countries, they started saying, "Oh no, the Kingfisher logo is advertising the airline," and they're like, "What? Kingfisher Airlines, the one that went bust 2 years ago?" Yeah. Kingfisher Airlines, yeah. No,
but it was like, but also like it was like the Ferrari where they had the green snot on the top of their car.
Mission now.
What the fuck is that? Have you Googled that? It's like it doesn't even make any sense what the company's trying to sell.
Well, it's Philip Morris, isn't it? It's Philip Morris who own Marlboro.
Yeah, but it's like it's completely like, okay, you go to Mission Winnow, but what are you trying to sell here? Like, what are you even, again? It's just a holding association.
It's just a It's because of it's the red background with the white M. It's to give that.
But why did it become a green snot?
I've
I never quite understood that. Like, there's no Marlboro that I've ever known about.
Maybe that's the
colour
of the mucus that comes out the lungs.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
Sorry to really smokers out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't quite understand it. So, we banned smoking. Have we banned alcohol as well? No. Yes, we banned alcohol from Formula One. Banned smoking from Formula One. Advertising.
Have we actually banned alcohol advertising?
Yes. Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Try and name one alcohol sponsor.
And
Heineken 00. It's always 00.
Yeah. That's true.
There's no alcohol sponsors. I don't know whether that's. Yeah, I think that's a deliberate thing. But
maybe. I know Johnny Walker were always sponsoring McLaren. I'm not sure if they are anymore.
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah.
But don't worry, you can get your Husky hot chocolate from a vending machine.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, what are they doing?
Yeah, it's all cryptocurrencies now, isn't it? And
Oh yeah, because that's the new that's Aston Martin have sort of taken over crypto. Oh, that's the title sponsor now, isn't it?
Yes. It's not crypto. It's BitBuy or something.
No, that's another one. Crypto is definitely Aston.
Sorry, I thought you said Red Bull. No, crypto is
Red Bull is Red Bull is Biptco or whatever.
Yeah, Bybit or something. It's
Bybit, yeah.
Crypto sponsor like Formula One as a whole.
Yeah, but they're also sponsoring Aston now.
Are they?
Okay. Oh yeah, talking about that, do we know what safety cars we're going to have this year? Are we still doing the?
I'm guessing still the Merc and the Aston. I've heard nothing to say the contrary. But what we do know is that Michael Massey is not going to be the race director. He's not going to be ordering those safety cars.
Has he lost? He's lost his job as well, though.
Completely. So he's been offered another role within the FIA.
Okay.
Apparently.
I think that was that was a terrible mistake. I think the problem with the FIA, they built that up because of Drive to Survive, which comes out next week. they made that whole FIA thing, radio talk, really big. The FIA, and then or
Yes,
Liberty
they
Media
did.
and Liberty Media, sorry, as well. And then they fired him because he had to deal with it. It was just like, what?
Well, I do think that he did actually break the rules, and he
but how could
made
you
up.
not? Like,
But the thing is, it's not.
I
even,
can't believe we're still talking about it.
Yeah,
like,
it's not even just Abu Dhabi. You look back through everything else that happened over the last couple of years, and you look at what happened in Saudi Arabia. You look at what happened in Mugello a couple of years ago. You had the safety car going round. Was it in Hungary when there were still marshals on the track? There was just time after time that he wasn't coping with the job. Even in Saudi Arabia, I was watching back part of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix a couple of days ago, and in hindsight, after hearing that Massey had gone, then hearing this radio communication, and then just the whole thing with Mercedes, where they said, "Oh, so is Hamilton allowed to go past then, or what?" And they said, "Well, no, I gave the instruction for him to be let past. So it's he's gone into the back of him. It's his fault." And then they're saying, No, you hadn't actually told me when he made the collision. Yes, I did. I told you. And I said, no, you didn't. You were telling me as they collided. And he's like, oh, well, there's only so many buttons I can press at once, Jonathan. It's just like, what? He's just losing control. But they've got Niles Wittich and Eduardo Freitas, I think that's how it's pronounced, taken over.
Okay. And who are these people?
They are, one was the DTM, outgoing race director, and the other one had recently just taken over from F2 and would be, I can't remember which one's which, but the other one's taking over F2 and F3 and is now doing F1 as well, with Herbie Blash is going to be the senior advisor. Now, Herbie Blash was the number 2 to Charlie Whiting. He was in happy retirement, but he's obviously coming back as a favour to kind of oversee. I think he'll be a short-term appointment, 1 year, maybe 2 years, just while
to
he's
see what. Just to
overseeing
calm it
this.
down.
Yeah, overseeing this period.
And so what is the new idea? Is that what are all these 3 people doing?
So
why do we have 3 people and stewards now? Or have stewards now gone?
No, stewards are still there. They're going to be...
Why? We have so many people in this box. We're going to need a bigger box.
I don't know how they're still doing the stewarding itself at the racetrack, but I know they are putting together what they call a, inverted commas, state-of-the-art facility back at base, not on site, which is going to be like VAR, where they've got people...
Oh, so it's going to be... So they've walked into Red Bull and gone, oh, this is a brilliant idea you've had here. About 4 years later, they've decided to do it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Was that? No, it's even longer.
I mean, it was such an antiquated system. It was like trying to referee a match with one hand tied behind your back and one eye covered with an eye patch. It's just,
but it's not like you can't even see the pitch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's miles long.
But just unfortunately, I think that it takes an incredibly steady hand, an experienced person to do that job, and Massey didn't have the experience or the temperament to do it in the end there. He was an excellent safety delegate, but when it came to race direction, I mean, very early on in his career, in season 1 of this podcast, I was referring to him as Michael, I think I'm a rock star Massey, because he was just doing stuff for the show. And whether that was because he was...
He loves getting out there as well and dancing around on the
that's what I mean. It's
things, you know. It's just like, okay, just let the stewards get on with it. You don't need to go out there and dance around on it. Like after the what's his name? Can't even remember his name. That Bahrain crash. Grosjean crash. Like, he was out there dancing around after. It was like, are you dancing in his grave or something? What are you doing? Like it just felt a bit weird. Like, and I've noticed it a couple of times when the barriers crashed. I'm like, should you not be worrying about everything else rather than what they're doing? Get someone else to do that.
Yeah, but I think it's positive. The changes are positive. I wouldn't have been upset to see Massey remaining, but I do think that it would have been very difficult for him because he would have lost the respect of everyone. I think maybe a less stressful job out of the public eye for 5 years is probably a good idea for him. Just to kind of let everything.
Do you reckon he'll come back?
Not in that role. I don't think he'll ever come back in that role. We may well see him again as like safety delegate or something, or at the track doing some kind of role, but I don't think he'll ever be in that role again. Yeah. I can't see it. Nor do I think he would want it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of...
It sounds like it's such a great role as well. You know, it could have been he could have been the rock star with that if he was clever enough. That could have been a great role that he could have had to retirement. You know, if you're clever with that.
Well, these new guys coming in there, they've got a lot of pedigree behind them, and they seem to be very popular. Although, again, I apologise, I don't know which one's from DTM. I don't follow DTM, but apparently he presided over basically what we feared was going to happen at Abu Dhabi, where the one person going for the title crashed into the guy who was also going for the title to keep the championship. He presided over that and apparently made a massive fuck up of it.
Oh, good. Great. That's going to be great. Yeah. Well done. Right. So
it's one incident, you know, and it's in a much lower budget formula as well. Let's be honest. Yeah. That probably is just him on his own with a camera and a set of binoculars, you know. Yeah. Maybe not quite that bad, but yeah, it's not ideal.
Trying to work it out as to what's going on.
But yeah, so as kind of as a general rule, there you got the top four look like they're staying mostly the same. The midfield is very difficult to say who's where. Alpine at the moment haven't been able to show what they can do because they've had quite a few reliability issues. Haas and Alfa Romeo have hardly made it on track. Williams are looking strong. They're looking like they're going to be in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th battle.
Yeah,
which is great. So we could potentially see a Williams podium this year, which would be phenomenal. Yeah, it's McLaren, again, looking fast and reliable, but we don't know if it's their whole package they brought.
Do you think that we're still going to get the Mercedes-Red Bull fight again?
I think we will, but I think we'll get Ferrari in there and McLaren in there on its day as well. I think the top four are probably going to remain virtually the same, but I just think, for me, there's some added dimensions.
What can change F1 that we don't get the same?
Well, I think what we'll see this year, because it's looking quite positive with the overtaking, in that Charles Leclerc was saying that when you're getting close to the car, it's easier to get fairly close to the car. Then you kind of hit a bit of a juddering period between a second and half a second behind, where it's no easier than last year. But then when you get that last bit between half a second and touching, apparently it's really easy. Because the way the turbulence goes. So if you're able to get behind someone, you will be able to cruise right up behind them, duck out and draft past them. So what we'll end up seeing now...
So what we're going to see is a lot of this, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, whereas now...
We're not going to get...
At the moment, what they have to do is they have to stay with them on the fast turns as close as they can, draft up behind them, and then overtake them going into the braking zone. What we're going to be seeing now is potentially... Instead of getting alongside and out braking, we're going to see them getting alongside and driving past, as opposed to heavy braking, because of the way that the cars are now quicker through fast corners, about the same through medium speed corners, but slower through slow speed corners. So we'll see tracks like Monaco, it's going to be quite slow, but then tracks like Monza and Spa, it's going to be epic. I cannot wait to see those cars going through Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I think it'd be really interesting to see it. So Darren's just asking, who are your top four teams? Well, I think it's top four.
It's the same top four, but slightly different order. I think it's going to be... I think Ferrari could win the Constructors' Championship this year.
Bold statement from Tom there.
It just depends on what we see that comes out at the next test and in Bahrain. So I'm going to reserve judgment completely. But if you ask me right now, based on what we've seen in practice and what my gut tells me, it's Ferrari for the Constructors, followed by Mercedes. Third place, I think I said Red Bull. Fourth place, McLaren. But I might have said third place McLaren, fourth place Red Bull. I can't remember now. But I just think Ferrari's got a very, very strong driver lineup, a strong car. I think George is going to do a good job in there. But I do think that we're probably going to have four guys going for the championship until the last few rounds.
Wow. And those four will be...
I think it'll be Hamilton, either Leclerc or Sainz. I'm not entirely sure which one at the moment. And Verstappen, definitely.
That's really awkward for Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Leclerc has got the overall pace, but Sainz is the one that just always seems to consistently do the business. It's like Hamilton versus Button.
Yeah.
It's you've got your or even like Senna versus Prost. You've got the professor or the guy that's win or bin.
Yeah, which is which is sort of the. But why it's awkward is because Leclerc was meant to be Ferrari's golden boy.
Yeah,
And
but
Sainz was coming in to fill the seat. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, and it could be either disastrous or brilliance from Ferrari, because what you'll see is that if Leclerc could stop making mistakes, then he'll be almost unbeatable. Yeah. But if he does keep making mistakes, then Sainz is going to be fighting him. He's not going to play second fiddle.
We just hope that Leclerc never gets a pole, because that's when he seems to fuck it up.
Yeah, he hasn't converted a pole for a while, has he? No. He had 2 poles last year, didn't convert them. No. He had a couple of poles in 19 and didn't convert them. No. But he has won a couple of races from pole though, so he has won 2 races. So and he's been very unlucky not to win a couple as well. So he is a talent. He's a huge talent, and he's I think he is going to win a world championship at some point if Ferrari give him a car. But we just seem to be getting these big stars locked in now on big contracts. We've got Verstappen there for a long time, Leclerc for a long time, Russell and Mercedes for a decent amount of time as well. And say Leclerc and Ferrari.
So is this good or bad that we're going to get stuck with the same driver?
Well, I guess it's fine as long as the teams and the drivers still perform. If they don't perform, if they kind of go the way of old Vettel, take him out the back and shoot him, then it could end up quite bad. You end up with this guy.
Someone took him out, shot him with humour and French and loveliness, and then gave him to Aston. Is what happened, and he's sort of done really well of just being mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, like say Sainz and Leclerc have an absolutely toxic relationship next year. Sainz absolutely bosses Leclerc, but then what happens to Ferrari? That partnership then becomes untenable, and you have no way of being able to continue with those two. We're talking like Hamilton-Alonso style 2007 here. They're going to have to end up paying Leclerc to not race in Formula One. Yeah, like they did with Prost and with Raikkonen in the past. So, I mean, obviously, I'm sure Leclerc will pick up a drive elsewhere, but even so,
but that's the thing with it, like saying that. Where is he going to go? Oh, he's going to go to Alfa Romeo with Bottas, is he? That's the problem. So like, where is he going to pick up this drive? That let's be honest.
I'm pretty sure McLaren would drop Ricciardo off in a second if Leclerc was available.
Do you think?
Yeah, based on last year, they would, and also he's the future. Ricciardo's a lot older than Leclerc.
Yeah, I mean Norris isn't going anywhere, is he?
No, Norris has signed up long term. He's the other one I didn't mention. Norris has signed up long term as well. I'm sure there'll be performance clauses.
I didn't know. I don't know when. Yeah, I don't know when he's actually signed up to.
It's 20.
Is he still a paid driver?
What do you mean? He's always been employed. He's not a paid driver.
I thought he was a paid driver.
No, so there's two.
A sponsorship driver.
No, he's never been a sponsored driver. So basically, his family are incredibly wealthy and have helped him get into Formula One. So there's two very. I'm gonna credit someone. I'm gonna credit Richard Reddy from Missed Apex podcast for this analogy on this. Okay. There is a difference between a paid driver and a driver who brings budget. And a driver who brings budget is someone like Lando Norris, who has been identified as an incredible talent who can pay their way because they've got backing behind them. And then you've got people like Perez that fall into that category as well. On the edge, because I'm still not entirely convinced by Perez, like world's best paid driver because he's very strong but got a lot of money behind him. Then you've got people that get into the seat because of who they are, not what they can do. Mm-hmm. And that is your Strolls, your Mazepins, your Latifis. They're the paid drivers.
Although Latifi, I feel slightly better about.
No, I think, to be honest, out of those three, Stroll's the best one. Because Stroll actually won championships in his junior series.
Yeah.
Latifi didn't. But Stroll never went into the tier below. He never proved himself. And he was always in the best teams, always in the best equipment. But he actually won championships. Whereas Latifi, even though he was often in the best equipment, still never won championships. So for me, Stroll is the best of that bunch. Mazepin, in fairness, wasn't always in the best cars. But equally, he had some good performances and he won some races, but he still never showed championship potential for me. But, Mick Schumacher only just did enough for me. He only just did enough to...
He's a paid driver as well, isn't he?
Well, again, Ferrari backing. He came in, but he did come in through the...
But he's also backed by 1&1, which is where the advertising for Haas, for him has come in.
But again, that's like, so he is a difficult one. I think he probably is there because of who he is, but he's also quite talented as well. But he does still fall under that pay driver category for me.
Sorry, anyway, you're going about this analogy.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Right.
As in,
they can pay their way.
You're in because of who you are, not what you can do.
Yeah.
And I credit Richard Reddy from Mr. Apex for that, because that's his analogy, so I'm not going to steal it.
It's not really an analogy, but we won't worry about that. So we've got, I mean, even you could say Verstappen is almost a pay driver back in the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, Jos Verstappen was never massively successful, so it's not like he was. I mean, he wasn't short of a pretty penny.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what? He's one of the names I remember from my youth.
Yeah, I mean, he had talent, but he wasn't really. Yeah, he wasn't. He was never a top driver.
No.
He was often. Yeah, he was. I mean, yeah, he was often like crashing into the leader while he was unlapping himself, and sound familiar?
Yeah.
But he's also a disgusting human being, and I don't mind saying that on here because it's kind of proven. Just Google his rap sheet.
Yeah.
It's longer than Deadpool's rap sheet.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, let's not get into that.
Little Marvel reference there.
Allegedly, he's a disgusting human being. That's my opinion and my opinion alone. And he can come at me at Tom Horrocks F1 if you want to come. If you want to come at me, Jos Verstappen.
Can you imagine if Jos Verstappen starts trolling you?
Oh, I would do it. I would screen grab it. I would screen grab it and put it as my banner.
Jos Verstappen, come at us.
Yeah, come at me, Jos. Oh, it's like when we tried to piss off the doing.
No, don't come at him. Don't come at him. You've done that before. That's the problem.
Oh dear. Right. Is there anything else you want to comment on Formula One? We've also got the testing starts next week. I've just got the schedule up here now. It's 10th to 12th.
Is this going to be televised?
Yes, this one is televised.
10th and 11th.
10th, 11th, and 12th in Bahrain, and then the following week is the race.
10th, 11th, and 12th. Brilliant. So we've got Drive to 5 coming out on the 11th.
Yeah. I would say with that,
10th, 11th, and 12th.
Just watch the catch up at the end because it is like a 9-hour show.
Yeah, but I like having that on the backdrop.
Yeah, you can have it in the background.
It's Paralympics.
Oh.
It's Paralympics.
Mm.
So that's normally in the background. I don't know what Channel 4 are doing this year as to how much Paralympics they get. But actually, no, because Paralympics is in the morning because of sort of goes into the afternoon.
I don't know. Hang on. I'll have a quick look at what the times are because I haven't actually checked myself. I would like to know because I want to know if I can listen to it at work or not.
Not that you.
So I think that's my time. So it starts at 7 a.m. 7 till 4 UK time.
Oh yeah. Oh, great. So it's smack bang in the middle of Paralympics. That's rubbish.
Sorry, there's just a fly walking across my halo lights. I'm just squashing it.
Oh. That's rubbish, but good. I don't know. We'll have to see now as to which one wins. But probably because Laura wants the old Formula One. We might end up watching that.
So Darren has confirmed apparently it's the Aston Martin Advantage and the DBX are to return as safety cars for 2022. Thank you for doing that research for us, Darren.
But what about the Mercs?
I don't know.
So that's your safety car and your
medical car.
I hope it's the upgraded DBX, the one they had at the reveal. They had the Super DBX. I can't remember what they called it, like DBX 2 or something. It was like a Super DBX. Right, yeah. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, I'll just touch on the other races that we're not going to be following quite so closely next year. But we had this weekend, we had the first Indycar race, which Scott McLaughlin won. You yawning away there. Scott McLaughlin won. Yeah. You'd have liked it because Will Power got on the podium.
Hooray!
Alex Palou came home second. Grosjean had a strong showing up in fifth. He kind of fell away a little bit. He was looking stronger in the opening like through qualifying and everything. But he finished 5th in the end. So that means that Scott McLaughlin, first time winner of in IndyCar, is tops the championship at the moment.
Nice.
We've had 3 Formula E races, which at the moment we've had.
Which I haven't watched any of them.
I've watched all 3 of them actually.
Yeah,
first race was Nick de Vries won it. Stoffel van Dorn had it in the bag, but then when he went into the attack zone, he didn't hit the sensor, so then he had to go for it twice, and so he just gifted the win to Nick de Vries. And then the second race, it looked like it was going to be de Vries winning that one, but in the end, it was Eder Mortara from Robin Frings and Lucas de Grassi third. And then the third race was in Mexico, and it was a Porsche 1-2 with Wehrlein followed by Lotterer. Which means for the championship, it is currently Eder Mortara with 43 points, Nick de Vries on 38 points, Pascal Wehrlein and Andre Lotterer tied on 30 points with Van Dorn in 4th on 28. They've got a much more complicated but much better qualifying system now, where it's much more about performance and not about randomly putting people in places to create excitement. And I think it's good because it's a world championship now, and to have credibility, it has to have a qualifying session that isn't just geared up to create drama. That's what you have your lower series for. You don't have reverse grids and you don't have sprint races and points for fastest. Like, oh wait, no, you do. You don't have stupid gimmicks in championships that are world championships, because it needs to be about pure competition, and that qualifying system wasn't for pure competition, in my opinion. So I like what they've done. I don't understand it, but it does mean that it's just, it's not about the fastest cars go out when the track's at its worst, which is good. It's fairer. It's much fairer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the Formula E and the IndyCar roundup. We've obviously got F2 and F3 return back to their previous guys, where they're racing on the same race weekends now, just 2 races a weekend instead of 3 that they had last year, and they're racing both F2 and F3 at some races. W Series are picking up on some of those races as well. So we're going to have some. Obviously, we're not going to be reporting on all of them completely fully, but we're going to have some races where we have Formula 1, IndyCar, Formula E, Formula 2, Formula 3, and W Series. So it's going to be like, yay! Interesting and fun. But yeah, so that's us for the moment. I'm sorry, this one's been very, very random. It's been like how to not make a podcast in 10 easy steps. So, I think we can probably call it there. I just want to say as well, acknowledge the great work of Furballs Rescue, who do great work rehoming abandoned animals all across Europe, and please support them by going to furballsrescue.org now. Do it now, because we're wrapping up. So if you go there now, then you can donate in like 2 minutes, because we're done now. We're just like wrapping up. So do that. Look after those pets, because look, they've been really good today. They haven't bugged me today. Earlier they were bugging me constantly, but today they've been all right. So yeah. We will be back. I don't know if we'll do one before the start of the season now. It might be the Bahrain review the next time we're back. We will discuss. We'll see what's happening in our lives, and then we will see you then.
We will see you later. I'm still trying to work out Twitter, so good luck.
See you later.
Right, bye. Recording stopped.